Bring you some breaking news from the United States. President Donald Trump has criticising the Labour government. He said the following: "I have been telling Prime Minister Sir Keir Starmer of the United Kingdom that leases are no good when it comes to countries, and that he is making a big mistake."
Watch how a political storm explodes across the Atlantic as Donald Trump unleashes a blistering, no-holds-barred attack on Prime Minister Keir Starmer, calling his leadership pathetic and accusing Britain of making a big mistake. In a moment, that's sending shockwaves through Westminster. Trump doesn't just criticise, he ridicules UK military power and questions Britain's global role. Is this the beginning of a serious fracture in the UK-US alliance? Or just another headline-grabbing outburst? Before we continue, please take a moment to like this video and subscribe to Britain Daily. It's completely free and it helps us keep bringing you the hard-hitting stories that matter. Let's watch this explosive clip.
Because they want to take over the Middle East, not just Israel. Certainly Israel would have been the first on their list. They would have used nuclear weapons. A nuclear, you don't need too many of them. But they would have used a nuclear weapon on Israel and they would have used it on the other neighbors. And then they would have come after us. And if we had a weak president, they would have done great damage. But fortunately, you don't have a weak president. I knew what was happening. And I think we've been proven right. You know, they took one missile, went 2,500 miles. They supposedly didn't have a missile like that. They had no missile with that capability. But they shot the now famous Ireland, the island that the UK was very afraid to give us because they didn't want to get dragged in. But we don't want to get dragged into their wars either. You know? One thing we're very disappointed, I'll say it publicly, we're very disappointed with NATO because NATO has done absolutely nothing. And I've always said, 25 years ago, I mean, I was somebody that wasn't a politician, but I was always involved in politics and I understood politics. I said 25 years ago that NATO's a paper tiger, but more importantly, that we'll come to their rescue, but they will never come to ours. And I want you to remember that we said this. They didn't come to our rescue. Now they all want to help. When they're annihilated, the other side is annihilated, they said, we'd love to send ships. They actually made a statement, a couple of them, that we want to get involved when the war's over. No, it's supposed to get involved when the war's beginning, or even before it begins. We had the UK say that we'll send, this is 3 weeks ago, we'll send our aircraft carriers, which aren't the best aircraft carriers, by the way. They're toys compared to what we have. But we'll send our aircraft carrier when the war is over.
What you've just seen isn't just another fiery soundbite, it's a moment that could signal a deeper shift in the relationship between the United Kingdom and the United States. And for many here in Britain, it raises uncomfortable but unavoidable questions. Trump's words were not subtle, calling the Prime Minister pathetic, dismissing British military capability as toys, and openly expressing disappointment in the UK's refusal to support American operations. This is rhetoric that cuts deeper than the usual political sparring. This is the language of frustration, of division, and perhaps even of warning. For decades, the UK-US special relationship has been one of the cornerstones of British foreign policy. From joint military operations to intelligence sharing, the alliance has been portrayed as unbreakable. But what happens when that relationship is tested in public and under pressure? Many viewers will be asking, did Britain make the right call by refusing the use of RAF bases? On one hand, it could be seen as a stand for sovereignty, a decision made in the UK's own national interest, avoiding deeper entanglement in a volatile conflict. On the other, critics will argue it risks weakening ties with the world's most powerful ally at a time when global tensions are already dangerously high. Trump's remarks about NATO are equally striking, describing the alliance as ineffective and suggesting that allies fail to support the United States when it matters most. These are not new criticisms from him. But hearing them again, in the context of an escalating conflict involving Iran, adds a new level of urgency. If trust within NATO begins to erode, what does that mean for collective security across Europe? And then there's the tone, the mocking of British aircraft carriers, the dismissive language. It's the kind of rhetoric that resonates with some audiences but deeply unsettles others. For many in the UK, it may feel like a direct challenge, not just to political leadership, but to national credibility on the world stage. But let's take a step back. Politics, especially at this level, is often as much about messaging as it is about action. Trump is known for his dramatic, confrontational style. His comments are designed to dominate headlines, to shape narratives, and to put pressure on allies as well as adversaries. So the question becomes, how much of this is strategy and how much reflects a genuine fracture? Meanwhile, here in Britain, the response will be crucial. Will the government push back strongly, defending its decisions and asserting independence? Or will it seek to quietly smooth tensions behind closed doors, preserving diplomatic ties while avoiding further escalation? For the British public, this is more than just political theatre. It touches on real concerns, national security, international alliances, and Britain's role in an increasingly uncertain world. Should the UK align more closely with US military actions, or should it chart a more independent path, even if it risks criticism from across the Atlantic? And perhaps the biggest question of all, what comes next? Is this just a temporary clash of personalities and policies, or the beginning of a longer-term shift in how the US views its allies, including the UK? One thing is, certain moments like this don't happen in isolation. They are part of a broader story, one that is still unfolding. And as it does, every statement, every decision, and every reaction will shape the future of one of the world's most important alliances. Now we want to hear from you. Do you think Trump was right to criticise the UK so strongly, or do you believe Britain made the correct decision by standing its ground? Is this a necessary show of independence or a dangerous gamble? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Your voice matters, and we read every single one. And if you found this breakdown insightful, don't forget to like the video. It really helps more people see content like this. Most importantly, make sure you subscribe to Britain Daily so you never miss the stories that are shaping our world.